Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome. I'm Diane from Boho Stamper. All right, we have video and we have audio. So we are off to a great start. How y'all doing? We're good. We're trying to figure out how to dress today, you know, since we've gone from rainy 55 back to 20 and snow. We had our couple days of a spring teaser, but we're back to winter. I was playing this morning, before we get started in our card today, I was playing this morning with a woven pattern here, and I'm thinking I'm going to do something like this for an Easter card. That might be fun. But today, we are going to make a St. Patrick's Day card. And I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and actually this is my shopping code. If there's anything that you need or you want to go do a little shopping, just go to my bohostamper.com and there will be a link to my online store there. And when you use my shopping code, I send a gift, a thank you gift for supporting me. But I usually concentrate solely on Stampin' Up! On Monday's videos, and on Friday it's kind of like a free-for-all. I use the different things that I have. I don't have a lot of St. Patrick's Day. I don't have any St. Patrick's Day Stampin' Up! Stuff, I don't think. I might have a shamrock die. That's about it. So I do have a couple other. Where did I just put them? Oh. This little bear by Penny Black, and I put the links in the description box below. Scrapbook.com still has this stamp set, but they don't have the die, and I did see that the die was available on another site, so I added that below in case you're interested. I use this little bear almost every year though, and today I'm gonna I want to make a wobble card with him. So at the Scrap Art Stamp Tour this past year that I finally got to go to again, and that was only my second time I ever got to go to that, but my first trip was really fun. I did find another St. Patrick's Day. This is an Irish toast. There are good ships and there are wood ships, and the ships that sail the sea. But the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. So I thought that was a really good sentiment to add to our cards. And then I have done this one a few times before too. Actually, I always put my extra pieces back in my packaging so I can use them again. Here is the opening. There it is. But if I remember right, this didn't have dies. Yeah, these ones are all just fussy cut out. Come on, little guys. Yeah, so I had some leprechauns left over that I had done. And actually, I think I did the Shenanigans Lady as a wobble card at one point. And I don't think there's any more of these left in my Etsy shop. I think there might be a bear or two left out there. But again, these don't have a coordinating die. And these are by artimpressions.com. So you can take a look at those if you're interested. I think those are a couple cute sets. We're going to use Irish Luck by Penny Black today, though. And I did stamp one and I colored him in real quick here. I use Stampin Blends, which are Stampin' Up's alcohol ink markers. If you're a Copics marker person, I don't know the numbers of those colors, so I can't guide you on those, but I'm pretty sure you could figure it out, especially if you're used to your Copic markers. I'm going to stamp another one of these just quickly so I can show you how I did the coloring. But we have him ready, so I don't have to color the whole thing, and you won't have to sit through that entire thing. I have a big package of green paper that I got when R1 Craft Store here was closing, so I have some green 12 by 12. This is called Holly Leaf, but I use it for St. Patrick's Day a lot. Otherwise, I'll have it forever. I have 1 bits and pieces left of some scrapbooking paper I got several years ago. This was, I guess it's Authentique is the name of the paper company. And I guess the design would be Clover, right? Yep, I don't see anything else on there. Yep, Clover. So it had some little cards in there and some little wee folk that I fussy cut out and stuff. But sometimes I'm able to use this paper in here for some of the card bases. Oh look, those go together really well. Think they thought that out at all? And then I also go back into my Stampin' Up paper because, of course, we know I have like a bazillion packs of this. And this is Floral Romance. It has some very pretty green leafy paper. A couple different green designs in there. And what was the other one I was going to go look for? And I forgot. Yeah, I probably would go with these couple. And Garden Lane. Yep, I've used this one before too because this actually has, I thought, this looks very Irish to me. I don't know why. So I've used that before. And what's the leaf one that's so popular? We use it all the time. And anyways, we'll use some of these maybe for a background panel on our card. So to get started, I just have a piece of thick white cardstock. And I'm going to stamp the image with Memento Black Ink. I did stamp one earlier because I wanted to see how it looked. I stamped it in brown. But when I started to use my alcohol markers, I was losing his features. I didn't really see any facial features, so I just went back to the black and stamped my image with black. And it worked much better. So I'll show you kind of like what my color scheme was here, my thoughts. I keep getting distracted because the little birds keep flying into the tree right outside my window here. I also pulled out, let me see, I have some Nouveau drops. We have, where's my color? Oh. Key lime, olive branch, and then I thought, of course, we'll need some gold on here, right? So we have dirty bronze, copper penny, and mustard gold. So I'll use the gold. And I pulled out some green washies just in case I thought I may want to add any of that. And I have some baker's twine here. This is from Doodlebug. Just some different colors of twine. But it had a cute green on here that I thought maybe we can use that. Okay. So I started out with my bear and I used, on this one I did cinnamon cider. I like to color, I'm sure there is a right way and a wrong way, but I like to start with my light alcohol marker and then go back and do some of my dark alcohol shading and then go back over it with my light. Stampin' Blends are pretty cool because they have a little mark on each end. You can see this has a thin line and this has a thick line. The thick line indicates this is the brush tip. The thin line indicates this is the bullet tip. So you can use whichever one you're most comfortable with. I'm going to start on my little bear here, and I just did some light Cinnamon Cider. I wasn't real particular about how I colored him in. I wasn't trying to be perfect by any means. Remember that your alcohol ink markers will dry a little lighter than what they first appear on your paper as. I know my first one I used my brush tip to get through it a little bit quicker because I was not prepared for today. I already knew what I was going to do, so. Well, I kind of was prepared. I had my papers all out and I knew I was going to do my little bear again. Okay, so we have him colored in with light. Now we'll do his little muzzle here. Again, not being too particular, but I do want to kind of go around my nose and not color over it. And then I took the dark. Oh. And on most of your stamps, there are some little marks which indicate shading. So use those to your advantage and go over those areas with your darker marker. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They did a lot of that work for you, so enjoy it. And then I use my light and go back over that again, and I just blend it out in a circular motion to get the two colors nicely blended. Now, Stampin Blends do not have a light, medium, and dark. We have light and dark. And I really have to get the new skin tone colors because I think they would come in handy for this as well. They might actually end up being a little bit of a mid-tone for me. In the meantime, what I do is I use the color lifter and I just move some of this ink around and make my areas that I want to be a little bit lighter. So really what I just did was the dark and the medium, and I'm making my light by just pushing some of this color. And you can see how it lightened up on his little muzzle there. I put I'll lighten up on the tip of his ear because I think that would be a bit lighter, and lighten up his cheeks. And then I just use a piece of scrap paper and wipe off any excess ink so that my color lifter stays clear. And that's how I went about making my little bear. I used Granny Apple Green for his vest and hat, and shaded Spruce for his shirt underneath. And I just continued on with the Cinnamon Cider for his feet. I added a little bit of mint macaron, which is a very pale green. Oh, that's a Call Me Clover. Where'd it go? I used the mint, maybe it was the Call Me Clover. Oh my, I put mint macaron. That would work anyway. Either one. This is a light Call Me Clover. I just added that to the shamrocks. Oh, see, no wonder, because it was clover. That's why it worked. Just to give them a little bit of a green tint. And then I used some Daffodil Delight as my gold for his necktie, the buckle, and his buttons. Now what you can do if you want to add a little bit more detail is if you have a white gel pen, you can add a little bit more on here if you want to get it a little bit more animated. I'm not really going for that detail. You can if you want. And then we have the die. Oh, I'll pen back. We have the little coordinating cutout die. And I had not cut him out yet, so wanted today to be a little bit more about the construction of the card rather than coloring the bear in. So I didn't want you to have to sit and watch me color. Although this is going really quick, so I may finish coloring the one we just started. And using my cut and emboss machine, I will add my little die over the bear. I didn't worry, if you noticed, about making a ground for him to stand on, because there is some little grassy area underneath the bear stamp, but the die doesn't cut that grass out, so I didn't have to worry about getting too detailed. And when we have our bear on the card, we can always add a little bit of grounding to keep this on here straight. So I spent yesterday, since yesterday was not a video day, going through a lot of my crafting supplies. Good Lord. I started on my die cuts, because if you've watched my channel before, well, first of all, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Thanks for being here. Anyways, if you've watched me before, you know that usually when I'm doing a project like this, just like my leprechauns, I cut several out because I like options. You know, I might want to do this bear in a different color. So anyways, I have so many die cut pieces, punched out pieces, flowers that I've punched, circles, and so I started separating them all yesterday. I'm thinking maybe I'll just put some on my Etsy shop. I'll see. And but I don't know how. I almost would have to do it by weight, because there's different sizes and different paper. You know, there's embossed paper and metallic paper, but maybe someone else who doesn't have an die cutting machine, maybe this would be helpful for them, especially if they're just getting started. So anyways, I thought maybe I'll just put those on there. Okay, so back to Mr. Boo. Let's get a piece of that green. Just because this is like the only way I'm ever going to use all this green paper up. And we'll cut it down to, we could make a slimline card, but I don't know that Mr. Bear is really large enough to fill that in. And I do not have a plan for a slimline background in mind. So typically we use 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to take an inch off of the end of the paper. And of course I didn't cut the end off with the tag on the back, so I'll probably have a sticky mark back there. And 8.5. Oh, that's my little cutting blade. And then typically we'd cut this in half at 5.5. No, we wouldn't. What did I just do? Maybe I didn't cut it. I didn't cut that right. That's why. Goofball. How can I screw up cutting my paper? And we do this every day. And then score this at 4 1/4. And there's a card base. And let me see. Yep, 5.5. I didn't cut it right the first time. And score it at 4 1/4 again. So now I have 2 card bases ready to go. And I'll use my bone folder to crease this. This is a little bit of a texture paper, so I don't want to crease it too hard and make marks in the texture. It's not quite as heavy as Stampin' Up paper, not as, kind of cut that crooked. Is that one crooked too? It is. I must not have had my trimmer set flat here. That's better. Okay, so let's get a background paper. I kind of think that leafy paper would be cute. I think this one kind of looks cute. We'll use that on one of them. And I'm just going to cut 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 to make a panel on this little guy. And then I might decide to add another layer behind him so that it will stand out a little bit brighter, even though we have our little wobble element here. And these are just wobbles that I got off of Amazon. I'll let you shop for yourself because the shop that I got them from, I was a little disappointed. Some of them are broken. My package was ripped when I got it, and they were laying all over. That's why it's in a Ziploc bag. They were laying all over inside the shipping envelope, and so I'm not going to link any. I'm not going to link where I purchased these because there are plenty of wobble opportunities out there. All right, let's try to clear up the old throat there again. So let me take a piece of that green again. I think I'll just stay in the same green family. And let me see. How about maybe we'll add a green panel behind him and emboss it. How's that sound? So I think I'm going to do 3 3/4. I mean, this paper does have a little texture to it, so I don't know how this is going to work. 3 3/4 by 5. That's going to give us a nice little frame behind our bear. And just let that green leafy paper show through. Yeah, so I like to do some St. Patrick's Day cards. I have a few friends who have March birthdays, actually quite a few. And it's funny because they all truly, truly, truly embrace St. Patrick's Day. Now my mother-in-law, her birthday is also in March. She'll be 95, so she doesn't really care if it's St. Patrick's Day anymore. Let's do this. That's a woven one. I like this one by Stampin' Up too, though, the Tasteful Textile. This one's a little more subtle. This one's a little bolder. Oh, maybe let's do the subtle one. We want the bear to be the focal point here. Yeah, so I was going through all my stuff yesterday too. I found, oh my gosh, the stuff I found. When I first started paper crafting years ago, probably eons ago, and I started learning how to die cut. I had a cuddle bug, which I have given to my sister to use, and throughout the years then I would try to find the old cuddle bug little dies. And so I grabbed these yesterday when I was going through all my stuff, and I didn't know if they would still work in the Big Shot, or even, I didn't try it through my Stampin' Up one because if it didn't work, I didn't want to do something to harm my machine. But I do have 2 Big Shots, so I tried it through a Big Shot and it worked. So now I have all these, like this little bee is adorable. I don't think I won't be using him because He's cute. That'd be cute with two little pom-poms on his antenna. Yeah, so now I have, because of course I didn't have enough dies to begin with, right? And I cut, I tried this one yesterday. This is the one I first started with. This was a quick cuts die, and actually I think I have a quick cuts thing down in the basement. I was going to try to sell it. But because the dies work on my regular Big Shot, I don't have to worry about getting rid of those dies anymore. Now I can use them. And if you remember, we had a little play, and I can't remember what video that was on. I spritzed the paper with some water before I embossed it through the embossing folder, and it did make a difference. So I'm going to spritz a little water on there. Let me get my cut and emboss again, though, because I have to take out my my cutting plate, and I have to remember what sandwich I used to emboss with this one. I don't know if this is my thick blue one. It might be. Okay. So let me give my paper here just a little bit of a spritz. And I didn't saturate it, but I can see the water on my paper. And then line it up inside my embossing folder. And Stampin' Up! Embossing folders. Oh, I hit you in the head. Sorry. I'll have a small line here across the bottom by the Stampin' Up! Logo. And you have to also be careful if you want to emboss your paper or deboss it, because one side of your embossing folder, the design is, I don't know, sticking up, and the other side of the embossing folder, the design is imprinted into. So if you're not used to embossing, you may want to play around with that a little bit. This is a very small pattern, so it's not really going to matter, but I want to emboss. And then even this up a little bit because I got a bit crooked. And then I'm going to put this through my embossing machine with the folded part of the folder first, so that as it applies pressure, it won't crack my embossing folder. Can you hear all that static? And then when I take my paper out, I have a pretty design in there. I got a little bit too much water on that one side, but it will dry. All right, let me get this guy out of the way. So what are you working on anyway? Like I said, I think Monday I'm going to maybe do an Easter card. Of course, that'll be with although everything I'm using here other than the stamp is Stampin' Up, huh? That's what happens. I do like their stamps, but I just don't have St. Patty's Day. This. Add him as a little wobble. And we also need then a greeting on here. So how about we just do Irish Luck with the banner die. And let's do that in, oh, I didn't get green down. Shaded Spruce kind of looks okay with that. So Now see, I'm silly because I do have other inks. And actually, I forget about these to the point where when I do think about them, they're dried up. I don't know if any of these even still work because, oh, look, that one's called Lucky. Maybe it'll be Lucky. Let me try it. And these are Simon stamps. Ink pads, I should say. Look, this one I never even opened. I just get so used to using my Stampin' Up ink. Like I said, I leave these sit here and then they're all dry, which is kind of a waste. So I just have a scrap of white. Oh, I just knocked my heat tool over, but it's not plugged in, so we're safe. It's not dried up. It is Lucky. It's a Lucky green. And I don't care that I have it upside down because I'm going to die cut it. Aww. It worked. Actually, I think I'm going to do it again because I see a little bit of lighter spaces over there. Excuse me. So maybe this is a little, oh, there, that's much darker. Oh, yeah. Better. Yes. Mucho better. I'll just use a little piece of this tape to hold my die down. If I can find the end. Because this is sort of small and I don't want it to move around and mess up. Oh, am I upside down? I'm upside down. So sorry. So we have any great plans for the weekend? The Super Bowl's over and it's gonna be snowy and cold here. The other stamp on there says a little, so you can put, of course I can't do that because I just embossed my background, but we could stamp a little Irish luck on here. I think this weekend, oh, I am going to, with my daughter-in-law, I'm going to a fundraiser bingo from one of the local fire departments, volunteer fire stations. So that'll be fun with her. I always enjoy spending some time with her. And I don't think her mom can go to this one. Her mom already had some other plans, so. Which is too bad, because I like her as well. Let's use some of that green twine. Wrap it around the embossed panel. Where do I want it? Do I want it on the top? Little banner. I think I do. I think I'm going to put my bear down here and our because remember he's going to wobble. Put our Irish fluff on the top with some twine. And, oh no, I'm going to tie it. I was going to say we can secure that on the back of the card with a glue dot, but I don't need to because I'm wrapping. Oh, come on. Other than that, I don't think we have plans for anything this weekend. February is just always so quiet and still. I mean, even the snowflakes today, they were pretty. I mean, it was pretty because the snow was coming down real soft. But then as I looked out into the yard, it was like the back snowflakes were going in the opposite direction. So pretty. God really has an artistic flair, doesn't he? As our little birds are out here, they're just going through the bird seed like there is not going to be any left for them tomorrow. But there will be. We'll follow it up again. I have 3 feeders out there. I think there were 6 birds this morning when I first looked out. This is hard because my paper was still a little bit damp and it keeps curling up. Usually I curl it to move my ribbon or my twine around, but I can't even get my twine tied tight. Say that one 3 times, my twine tied tight, because my my panel here is curved. Will you stop, for Pete's sakes? Here we go. All right, better. I wanted it more to the left. Once I adhere this to my leafy background, I'm not going to be able to move that. That's why I'm fidgeting. So I apologize that I'm being a little bit fidgety here with this. Right, I think that's going to lie flat. And you know what? I think I'm going to use double-sided tape on here since it's curling. And it probably wouldn't have curled if I wouldn't have wet the paper. But I do think that it gave a nice embossed impression. So if you're not going to use 2-sided tape, make sure you use a liquid glue when you emboss rather than your tape runner. Liquid glue gets down into all the little nooks and crannies of your embossed paper, whereas your tape runner is going to sit pretty much on top, and you may tear your paper too. Remember, you just put a little stress on that when you ran it through the machine, so it's a little weaker. I think that when you run your tape runner across there, then it could rip your paper more easily. Oh, let's put one in the middle, just to help hold the weight of our little wobble mechanism. And we'll line this up on our designer paper panel. You know, again, use the paper you got, use it up. Especially for us, we have a new catalog coming out in April. So with March right around the corner, I'm pretty sure demonstrators are going to have some early access to pre-order. And they always have beautiful paper. So use what you got. Use it up. If you like Stampin' Up! Products and you need a catalog or something, give me a holler. I'll hook you up. Okay, now we can add either some liquid glue or tape runner. I'm going to use some liquid glue because, as I said, this paper has a little texture already to it. Doesn't need a lot as she squirts out a blob. And I'm not going to see the ridges of this glue on the other side of the paper because we have our embossed panel on top of it. So liquid glue does, am I on screen? I hope. Good grief. It does give you a little bit of wiggle room here so you can kind of get your panels all straightened out. Just handy when I leave little tiny borders. Now we can add our little bear. I'm going to have to redo my bow anyway because it's hiding my little banner. I can put a glue dot under that to hold it in place. And we're all done here. Great. All right, wobble time. Woohoo, wobbles. And so, I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way to this. I tend to put the more solid part onto my card base and put the little open end on my image. If you're going to use a wobble, make sure that you are using a bit of a thicker cardstock, not your lightweight pattern paper. This thickness, and if you don't have thick, then just cut out two. We'll do that just to show. We'll just cut out that brown one that I'm not going to use. And we'll glue them together, and that gives us a very nice thick base so that our teddy bear here will stand up nice on the front of the card. You know, it doesn't have to be stamped. Just die cut a second one of the same shape. And then we'll glue the two together. Oops, went off the edge there. Lovely. Now he's not going to go anywhere when he's on there. He's not going to fall off. So we want to keep our wobble a little bit towards the center of the image. If you put it up too high, obviously his feet are going to fall down, just like if you were to put dimensionals behind it. And if you put it down too low, his head's going to pop up. So thinking sort of right behind his nose is going to work out well. And then if you can possibly get the release papers off. Oh, don't stick down there. tough little bugger. There. So we'll just stick our wobble on the back. Depending on how secure you want your wobble to be, because like I said, I'm not sure about these ones so much. And they've been in my drawer here because I don't use them all the time. So these are probably a year and a half old. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the back of that. Let's put him a little over here to the side. And hold it in place for a few seconds. I'm going to grab some dimensionals because I want to pop up my little banner back there. So I have some mini dimensionals to put on the back. And maybe I want to add some gold Nouveau drops. Just for fun. Or if you have some gold rhinestones or little gold pearl beads, any embellishment. I just want to add a little bit of gold on here. Now remember, the little bear stamp that I used is not Stampin' Up. It is Penny Black. The pattern paper is Stampin' Up. My blends are Stampin' Up. Of course, garden green paper would be perfect on this. So, if you're looking for any of those types of supplies, go to bohostamper.com or email me, Diane@bohostamper.com. I'll help you get whatever you need. And if you're looking for that Penny Black, I just want to make sure that was going to come out okay. Oh, let me trim some of that string off. And should I put a glue dot behind there to hold it in place? Maybe, because if I'm going to add some Nouveau drops, they're going to take a few minutes to dry. And I don't want the string to pop down into them. And this baker's twine, as I said, was Doodlebug. Stampin' Up! Does have some baker's twine available, not this green. There are other colors of baker's twine for your pleasure. Don't mind me, I'm concentrating on my dots. And then, what we can do to make them a little bit more dot-like, I'll have an ink pad here. Oh. Is just tap this onto a firm surface, and it will help get those little Dairy Queen tops off of your dots. Make them a little bit more rounded. And there we have a little bit of Irish luck today. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that this will inspire you to send somebody a card for St. Patrick's Day, an often forgotten holiday, but one that a lot of people still celebrate and enjoy. So thank you for joining me today for a little bit of paper crafting fun this Friday. Stay warm over the weekend. I am going to use my little Irish toast stamp that I showed you once I find it and add that to the inside of my card after my Nuvo drops dry. I don't want to do that right now, and smush them. Come back on Monday at 10 o'clock, and I think, as I said, we're going to start some Easter cards. We did do Mother's Day card not too long ago with our daffodils. I might use the daffodil set again, I don't know. But I'm going to use that little woven design that I was working with. And until then, I'll see y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, everyone. Bye.